Ma, umsebu ikoko ewandi avuma Relezi yepu jongana semazweni Babu konzile ewandi avuma Ukwagi yogindobo Kawusondela Andibu kelele Awufunina Uguba indombi Sondela, Tandibu Shebele, Awufundila, Uguba indombi, Titi, 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 indombi, Titi, 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 indombi, Titi. Bonane mazweni batandu kuthetha ngawe wendi avuma ukwagi yogindobo kawusondela phambi kukelele awufunina ukuba indombi kawusondela phambi kuhlebele awufunina ukuba indombi Titi, 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 don't be your Titi, 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 don't be your Titi.
Hey, we are back. We are back by popular demand. WNHHLPFM 103.5 FM. Thabisa and friends, I am so happy to see these beautiful faces this morning. Wow. You know what, guys? First of all, thank you for making it today. I know it's been tough. Every single one of us are going through some sort of either emotional turmoil. Some are having some solistic purge. Some are having to, really deeply reflect. And then some, I think each and every one of us that are here today are going through some sorts of connection and introspection with our own lives and not only just as artists and as mothers and as friends and sisters and brothers, but also as human beings. The world right now is pretty much in tatters, and it's always been in tatters, right? That's the thing. It's not like it hasn't been. It has been, but then events like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor's murders, they sort of knock us in our heads and say, wake the hell up. Do something with this mess. This country, in fact, globally, when it comes to the system and our systems that are put in place, when it comes to our governance, when it comes to our leaders, when it comes to policing, and when it comes to just our communities in terms of having us to actually stand up for people, we don't do it enough. So we know that these systems are corrupt. We know that these systems are one-sided, they are lopsided, and that we know that these systems need people collectively to ensure that they change. So I'm just going to dive into my thoughts as well as I'm going to dive into everybody and just, welcome you further. But I have been thinking a lot about Black Lives Matter and what that means. And I've been thinking a lot about what is an actual thing for people to do to actually make things work in a sense that is not only equal for everybody. It's not only fair in terms of the justice system, but as well as healing. We need healing. in all of this. There are a lot of things that we have not done to actually firstly admit that we are in this place because we caused this, you know. And by saying that we caused this, I especially mean to the community that's Caucasian, because I feel like a lot of the Caucasian humans, they have a fight, pull, push reaction to issues of race that they can't say, you know what, I get the history. I get the history. And I can say, even if I was not personally the one who touched and harmed our fellow humans, but I take responsibilities of my ancestors. They're not here to answer for themselves, but I do know their actions, and I do know how I benefit from their actions. And I do know how the white supremacy had lifted up and made me, as a person who's this skin, is now secure in this environment today. But then the rest of other human beings whom we call minorities are not as safe. So that makes me part of the problem, whether I physically do things or don't do it, whether I do it intentionally or I do it unintentionally. I feel like I have a lot to say. I have so much to say that I don't even know where to begin. Like now I'm getting lost in my own words, but I feel like the truest change for me is not in book clubs. It's great that people go to book clubs and start book clubs, and it's great that people now are currently feeling like, oh, where can I spend my dollar, like the 10 cents that I have, this change here. We don't need to be given fish. Black human beings don't need to be given fish. We need resources to help us actually make our own, right? We want to be able to make our own. We want to create jobs. We are able to do these things. We don't want to be given things. We want to create these things. We have the talents, we have the skills, we have the intellect, we have the know-how, you know. We want to fish ourselves, you know. So in order for us to fish ourselves, we've got to fix the system itself. So I feel like this is part of also an appeal for my white friends, you know. We've got to change literally the systems. After we've read those books, we've got to get out there. We've got to vote right. We've got to hold accountable our people in our local governments. We've got to make sure the laws that they put out there, the policies that they put out in the policy units, that those laws that they put out there, those policies work for everybody. And we've got to change those that don't work, that are actually meant to harm the homeless, meant to harm the black and brown people, because you know they are there. You know they are there. So I feel like once we start to actually changing the laws and ensuring that they are on the books, changed, not just in say and posting nice things and posting the black squares, because after the black square is posted, someone out there is dying. You know, the system is not watching Facebook. The system is not watching IG, right? So I would like to welcome you all and this show today. I want to talk about all these things. I want to pick your brains. I want to feel your souls. I want you to be with me here, because all of you, fortunately, are actually my friends. So this is great today. I would like to pick your brains, and I would like to know how you been personally doing. And then as you tell me this, please do feel free to introduce yourselves. I had all my introductions ready here, but I'm not going to do that. Introduce yourselves, friends. I'll start with you, Susan, since you're my top right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Clenard. I'm a professional sculptor. I've been doing this for 28 years. Prior to that, I was a social worker in Chicago, in the neighborhoods in Chicago, and I realized that where my voice was strongest is actually making artwork that shares our shared humanity. I'm so happy to be here. Mwah.
Happy to have you, Susan. You know, Susan, you are a talented sculptor. You're one of the very, very, very few people that I know that can produce something that actually involves a feeling. Besides my other fellow musicians, artists that are like musicians, your work speaks volumes. You're not a woman of many words. You know, you tend to show your feelings and thoughts through your hands and through your sculptures, and that is evident in your work. That's how you protest. That's how you want to make it. That's how you make a point. I've learned. I want to know from you, Susan. You know, how have you been? What's going on in your heart, in your head? In these times where Black voices like myself are standing up and saying we need to reevaluate, we need to realize that Black lives matter.
It is one of the most powerful times of my lifetime, and I'm almost 50. And I live in constant anxiety. I'm not gonna lie, I live in constant anxiety, and I've been really pushing through some depression. But from that is some of the most powerful, beautiful, strong, and needed things that we need to hear, we need to change. And, you know, making artwork about it is one voice of how to share stories, but hearing people who are sick and tired of it is bringing my children out on the streets and marching and standing next to just thousands of people is, you know, gives me goosebumps. It's powerful. It has energy. I lost my goddaughter to racism. She died 2 years ago. And when I tell other white people that she died because of racism, they said, they looked at me and they didn't want to hear it. And she died, she was only 36, but she had a heart of a 98-year-old woman. And when I've been with her since she was 15 years old, I was her social worker many, many years ago in Chicago. I lived through her formative years, 20-something years of her trying to get her GED, going to nursing school, trying to get equal housing, trying one thing after the next thing after the next thing, where as a mother, as an adoptive mother, you're like, holy shit, this exists, and it exists hardcore. So for a white person to say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, all this bullshit, what I feel, sorry if I'm not supposed to swear, I apologize, but until you put yourself out in community and have relationships with people who are different than you, or you know, especially I call out to my white, you know, brothers and sisters, like, I'm not an articulate person, excuse me, I make sculptures, so I'm really emotional, this is very hard. You have no idea. We have no idea. It is constant. I had to talk my goddaughter out of committing suicide 4 times, because she said, Susie, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Wow, this is why we need this. This is why we need this, because thank you for sharing that story, Susan. I want to make sure that people understand that this is not a trend. This is not a hashtag woke. This is not hashtag I woke up like this. This is our lives as we know it. And we are not going to stop. Next week it's going to be the same thing. Next month it's going to be the same thing until we see that needle moves. Because I had goosebumps. Because this needs to happen, as in like many, many, many moons ago. And it's important to have these conversations. It's important to have these conversations. Black people have been having these conversations. And now we realize that, no, this is not our conversations to have, you know. White people need to actively speak truth to power, speak truth in their own homes, talk to their great-grandparents, talk to that old money that puts a thumb on us today, because it's trickling down. And the one thing I refuse to do as a mother is to raise my children with an inferiority complex because of the systems of today. That's not going to happen, unfortunately, not in this household. And on top of that, I know my husband and I, you know, he comes from a white background culture, and I'm from an African Black culture. We started having this talk on a deeper level, in a way that there's no choice to it. Like, there's no choice to it. There are no options. We're having the talk. And in fact, we are inviting the entire family in the talk, because it's not our problem. Because the thing is, when I go to your house, when my children go to your house, when we don't talk about these things, then we come back out of that house, feeling like nobodies, feeling unseen, unheard. That is horrific. That is a psychological beep, because we're not going to swear Susan. And it's something that it's not necessary. It's something that everybody in their own households need to speak truth to, need to speak honestly. I mean, I dare that we all become that Uncle Ruckus who gets drunk and starts telling truth, because we have to speak these things truthfully, no matter what, even if it causes us to be looked at in a funny way or seen as, oh, aggressors. Because you know what? The real aggression is the silence. The real violence is the silence within our own homes, because then it trickles down and then people get killed and nobody says anything. And everybody's like, but the book says, but what are you saying? What are you doing with your dollars as someone who has benefited in many ways in this system, who still does benefit in the system? People are very quick at pointing fingers at the Black people. Pull up your bootstraps, do this, do that. But what are you doing to make sure there's a balance in your own community, in the communities around you? How are you balancing the scales that have been tipped? So I'm going to also try to get to see what's on my friend here, Doc Tiffany Jackson. I know you have been moving about, speaking your mind, being emotional on all sorts of levels, given the right to be so. I want to pick your brains. Please introduce yourself first for those who don't know you. Today I said I'm not introducing anybody. So you tell them, my lady, who you are, and as well as what's on your mind.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm really happy to be here. I think the best thing in this time is community. Community, faces, people, blood, bodies, just to be together. My name is Tiffany Jackson. I was born in Philadelphia, but raised in New Haven. And I have most of my degrees in music. I was trained as an opera singer, but I also sing jazz. And just recently I got my doctorate degree in vocal performance and musicology. And last year I wrote a one-woman show called From the Hood to the Ivy League and back, really. I feel like I'm back. So that's some basic ideas about who I am. I am an extremely emotional person, and I feel things very deeply. And I find myself having to breathe deeper and deeper, because I feel right in my heart chakra is where I feel the most pain. And it scares me, because I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want to have no damn heart attack. I don't feel like falling. I don't want my heart to get sick. I don't want my heart to get
I know what you feel. I know what you feel.
I'm like, no, Lord, this is not what I had planned for my life. So I spend my day, sometime during my day, trying to either self-heal or to self-care. Because if I'm not here, I can't assist. If I'm dead or incapacitated, I can't do nothing for nobody else. So I take care of myself. The first thing I do in the morning is I get up, I meditate, go to the bathroom, I pop my face. Okay, do something to yourself, do something, make you feel better. I take a walk in the community. Yesterday, I walked to downtown New Haven and I went to a rally. I walk to my office and I practice my music, and I write and create. And so if I don't do that, then I find that I'm just mad and pissed off all day. And I can't do that. So I have to say that that's number one for me. This is hard because I talk to God a lot, and I'm always asking God, I'm like, okay, so I'm tired of my people being oppressed. So maybe you can give me some ideas, or maybe you could talk to me, because right now I'm tired of our people being oppressed. Like, I mean, you said the first is going to be last and the last is going to be first. When we going to be first? So I have a lot of conversations with God with that omnipotent energy all the time, because sometimes people make things more confusing for me. So I feel like every day I also have to resort to that source of like, why, what, or when are you going to intervene? What's going on? Please talk to me. So that's part of my daily regimen as well. I think one of the biggest problems, and it was with George Floyd's murder, right? That murder was so heinous to the point where white folks didn't care about COVID-19 anymore, and they all went out in the streets. Many of them went out in the streets. I mean, that's how heinous it was. And because I did ask my community what was different about George Floyd's murder, because this happens all the time. So why is this one different?
Right.
I think it's a combination of things. You know, people have been quarantined, so now they can't ignore it. They can't turn the blind eye. They are forced to see it. It's all over social media. So that's one of the things. The other thing is the callousness, how it was almost like a movie, how you're sitting watching this brother dictate his own death. Nicely. He was kind. Sir, I can't breathe. Still being respectful while he was dying. You understand? So to a certain extent, and then the callousness on the police, on his face, as if he were taking a selfie. I think at that level that it is almost a crime against humanity. And I think that's what white folks thought. Like, wait a minute. They put themselves for the first time in the same space as that man laying on the time white people don't. They just make up a reason why it happened. Like, well, maybe he should have complied, or well, maybe, you know, maybe if he had done this, or maybe if he was not this or that. This time, nobody, including white people, could not come up with an excuse. They could not explain it away. Couldn't explain it away, right? So that's another thing. And so I think it mobilized all of us equally, for one. And some of the things that I have done recently, like I'm just going to read a few things and then I'm going to be quiet, is the repercussions of racism, what racism has done, not only to Black people, but what it continues to do to white people, okay? Racism is amoral. It's ungodly. It's a crime against the universal law. And to perpetuate it and to teach it to the kids is abuse to your children. It is abuse, psychological abuse, to teach a kid to hate another human being. And so you have a whole bunch of adults who have been taught this. My white friends tell me what their parents taught them. So I know this to be true. So with this thing being perpetuated, you get shame and guilt, right? You get willful ignorance and silence. Because at this point, I refuse to believe that people don't know, okay? A perpetuation of racial tropes. Black people are lazy, they're crimes, they're criminals. Black men, tall, big, and Black, are scary human beings. All these things are perpetuated. Trauma. I just watched, what's the brother name? Rayshard Brooks's press conference, his family. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it. That's why I was late coming on. When you see it, it's traumatizing. I had to console my mother after it. A 71-year-old Black woman who was raised in Jim Crow South. So for her, this is Jim Crow.
Triggers.
So it's re-traumatizing over and over and over and over and over again. And I think if there is going to be a change in this, that white people are going to have to rest with themselves and to try to excavate what they have been taught about whiteness. Marching is great. Saying Black Lives Matter is great. That's cute. Wearing the sign, wearing the logo, hashtagging it is cute. But eventually you got to change your mind to change your heart. And we need a change of heart.
Absolutely.
That's what I have to.
I am with you 110%, Doc, there. And I will not even mud those words, because you've just said it. You spoke some of the feelings and thoughts that I had in mind as well. And a whole lot of other people too. You know, like, I just feel like again, we need a lot of healing in the communities, the Black communities, because not only will we continue to make our voices heard and also continue to need allies that are going to amplify the voice, but that's just not going to be enough. These people must see the longer term. They must have a plan. They must make their own plan, their own individual plans, their own family plans, their own community plans, and even within their own governance. How is it that we are going to move forward in 10 years' time and actually move that needle? Because there's going to be a lot of things that are going on, a lot of emotions. Right now, we're at the stage, that first stage, denial. Some are denying that this is happening. Some are becoming defensive. All these things that are happening. Some are mourning at the same time. You know, all of these things. Yeah, change your mind, change your heart, Doc. That is absolutely true. And to that, I'm just responding to what Doc just commented on right now. I always say too, your money is not going to give the Black communities any effective, true change if you don't give yourself change first. Change yourself first, then you give the change to the communities. The financial, the dollar change. Change yourself first, match it up. Match it up every time any white person that's out there wants to be an ally who feels like they can only stand up against the system in certain ways, and one of them is giving up money. I want to just say that is all good and well, but it's not going to make any true effective change if you yourself aren't doing the change within you as you give away that money, right? So I want to also speak to my artists. I've got two fellow artists here that are friends of mine, and I would love to hear how they are coping, because I know it is hard for all of us. We are all artists on this platform today, and I did this for a reason and on purpose, to call out artists instead of experts in some psychological field or all these other things. I wanted to feel what you feel. Is it what I feel too? And how now it also resonates and show in your works. And your work sometimes not coming through just art, it comes through your voices, what you are advocating and what you are saying, and in many other ways. I'm going to speak to my other friend here, Ruth. Ro Godwin is one of my ultimate favorite musicians, young upcoming artists in this community of New Haven. She is talent. She's the ball of talent in a true sense of the word. Ro, I know you've been working on many projects. You're a musician, and also you are an activist as well, and you're a singer-songwriter. You write your own music. Tell us more about yourself, and do introduce yourself if I've left out anything.
Awesome. So, like Thabisa said, I am Ruth Anyurimba. I go by the stage name Ro Godwin. And yeah, I'm a musician here. I make a lot of songs that I don't know, I try to go for songs that kind of speak to human experiences that are collective, more so than like just, telling my individual story and stuff like that, because I think that there are times where people need verbiage or words to explain certain experiences that that people, may not have the words for. So I try to serve in that way. In terms of how I've been honestly just angry all the time. I think that I'm angry at the fact that, first of all, that so many people are dying. I'm angry at the fact that people are still finding ways to be blind to the fact that so many people are dying. I'm mad at who I'm now calling the Black Box Brigade, the people who put that one black box on Instagram and thought they did something. I am angry at the term ally, because the way I'm seeing this is as a white issue, white mentalities that have put us all in this terrible situation. So if anything, people of color are actually partnering with you to like clean up this mess. I've been mad at a lot of different things. But honestly, Tiffany, I actually really resonated with what you were saying about just making sure that I'm okay. I'm starting to realize like, okay, like I'm angry, but that's okay. Like there's a lot to be angry about. But at the same time, I need to take care of my own personal wellness, because if Black Lives Matter is a phrase that I take seriously, my Black life has to matter to me. So that looks like, okay, making sure that my sleep hygiene is good. Like, am I going to sleep like at a certain hour? Like, am I staying up for no reason? All of that. Am I making sure that I'm feeding myself good food? Am I doing all of that? I think that self-care partnered with community care have been the two ways that I have been, I guess, kind of coping with all of these things. And admittedly, I have been like, obviously, like practicing like my music, but I haven't been so focused on putting out that much more. I think that I've been kind of strategic in how my creativity is, I guess, shifting other places. I've been writing like emails and stuff like that, specifically to my church, because in my opinion, the church has been one of the like, it's been a place of refuge for a lot of people, but it's also had a deep history of racism
Instigator.
and something that has to be uprooted, because no institution can be safe right now. Like nonprofits, you have to question where you get your food, question where you get your clothes, question all of it, is kind of the wave that I'm on. So that's what I'm trying to do. I've also been crafting, I guess, like shea butter salves. Thabisa, yours are on the way. Don't even.
Yes.
But I've been trying to be strategic in like, okay, am I creating music that will help people through this movement? Do I have the emotional bandwidth for that? Or do I have the emotional bandwidth to create tangible things that I can gift people, that I can accept donations to make for protesters to be able to give them away for free? All of these things. So I think, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing to cope and to get myself through this. I think that the advice that I have for artists would be like, if the music is not coming, or if the art is not coming, if the sculptures, if the paintings, if the dance, like choreography, if that's not coming, you are still A, worthy of life,
Right.
B, very, very useful, 3, you're still creative. And even if those things, like even if you have to like shift modes of creativity and stuff like that, get creative with your self-care, get creative with what you eat, get creative with all these other things, and continue to nourish that creative part of you, so that in the future, or even now during this really turbulent time, you can give yourself opportunities to heal with the rest of your community, so that your inner artist can still remain safe and nourished and fed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot say, I cannot, agree with you any further than that, because I try to apply that in my own life too, especially when I constantly have to remind myself to take care of myself. I mean, I get out there and I do what I need to do, and to speak up for the human race, and especially at this point in time for the Black lives. And for me, sometimes I feel like I'm stuck between two worlds, because I've got South Africa that is also very violent towards women, very violent towards women. We've got a police brutality and police system that is not taking any accountability in their own crimes when it comes to the Black people of its own country. We've got, and then this country that's also doing the most, So sometimes I even say, how proud Americans are of being this first world country, and I always like to call my country the third world country. And I'm like, but babe, you are like the third world country of a first world country. So let's just not be that proud until we sort out our problems first, and before we call other countries bad. So I'm very grateful that you guys are here. This is WNHH LP 103.5 FM. You are with Thabisa and friends. I am so happy to have these guests here today. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I feel like they have just reiterated things I have been feeling, these emotions I've been feeling as well. I also have here 2 other guests I've spoken to, and I'm going to go through them because I do not want anybody not to have a chance to speak on the show. So I have one other caller. Her name is Otalia. You cannot see her. She's using a phone because of network issues usually in South Africa. So she's decided to take it as a call. Otalia, please tell us who you are. And before I give you the robes, please talk on June 16, because tomorrow it is June 16. It is a very important day for the Black young folks of South Africa. It is our Youth Day. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself and about that. Is Otalia here? Otalia, are you here? Okay. Okay, there she goes.
Hey, hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm very sorry about that. I was waiting for you to unmute me, actually. I was starting to panic that this is happening again.
Okay.
Thank you so much for inviting me on the call. My name is Ophelia Kunene. I am a grassroots activist in South Africa, and I'm also a content producer and a writer. I'm very conflicted, especially around this time of June 16, and actually with what's happening with police brutality all over the world. I think one of the things that is quite important for me right now is the fact that, you know, George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. It's not just a movement, but it's a revolution for me. Mainly because I think Black people have been going through so much, and for me, right now, I'm a very angry person. Not just because of what happened with George Floyd, but what has been happening continuously on Black bodies. I mean, we can date back as slave days, and I think, you know, sometimes it kind of frustrates me because I kind of feel like we're not angry enough. I feel like right now it's high time we talk about a system change solution. I don't think we should still be talking about conscientizing white people to be more sensitive, or conscientizing white people to care about Black people. You know, I think we're at a point where white privilege should be completely dismantled. You know, the capitalist system should be completely dismantled, because it's not working for anyone. It's not working for Black people, and it's literally writing on the on the backs of Black people, and I think that's a conversation that we really need to have. You know, because it takes for healing to happen, so many things need to be rectified. You know, there's so many issues regarding Black history. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she was saying to me, we need to teach Black history in our schools, you know, and I said to her, it also depends what is viewed as Black history, because for the longest time we've been taught about slavery, and we've been taught that Black people will forever be slaves, you know, and I think it's high time that we teach the positive things about Black people. That we are the creators of music, we are the creators of science, we're the creators of art, you know, that let's look at the positive side to what Blackness is, and actually redefine what it means to be Black. Because, I mean, to be fair and honest, for a very long time, we've been looked at as the looters, right? And that's why even when we have protesters, and then a protest gets out of hand or gets violent, we are looked at as people who are violent, and you know, it's even said in our historical books. But to be honest, you know, the colonizers have always been, you know, the violent ones. You know, you cannot take so much from Black people. You cannot take so much and not see it as a crime. You know, because, you know, it's so bad right now that, you know, systematically everything we do is a crime, you know, and to even just look at the history of police, you know, how we managed to actually get security forces to be put in place, right? It was not to protect Black bodies, right? It was to harass, it was to kill, it was to hang Black people. We cannot at this day, and you know, at this day, expect the police to be different when their history it was not to protect us. You know, I think it's quite important for us to start having a conversation of system change, that we need a different system. This system is not working for us globally. You know, let's just even look at June 16 itself in South Africa. You know, when the students decided to go on a protest to protest against Bantu education, that they were going to be taught in Afrikaans, and they decided that we are going to rebel against the system. You know, the white policeman told them that if you don't disperse in 3 minutes, we are going to shoot you. You know? And you know, the students, and you know, when the police started counting, you know, one, within half a minute they started shooting these students, because we need to understand that Black lives do matter, you know, and it's so this abuse has been so continuous, you know. 43 years later, we still experiencing the same abuse, you know, and you know, to be quite honest, even with our historical background as Black people, the abuse will continue for a very long time, because it's not just physical abuse; it's a psychological issue, right? That even when we even build these movements, we need to be psychologically conscientized. You know, we need to recover from what has happened to our ancestors, because even when you enter in this world of activism, you need to learn what happened, you know, to your ancestors before. And it's not a pretty picture, and it does not even help you in any way emotionally, because you get to also relive those experiences, even though it's at different times. But the oppression is real, you know. Let's just look at even what's happening in South Africa, especially during this lockdown. Femicide is back. Women are dying left, right, and center. Women are being killed left, right, and center.
And it's
Black women
incredible.
in particular, you know, and it's so sad. It's not sad. It's very, very sad. You know, I think we really need to change this system entirely. We can even look at what even happened in Marikana, you know, even with the security forces in South Africa, where the police were told to shoot to kill by the Minister of Security and Police. You know, so you can see from that Black lives don't matter. This system does not cater for Black people. The system does not protect Black people. The system needs to be dismantled. This system really needs to end completely, because in order for us to heal, we cannot continue to go through the abuse. You know, even with tomorrow's celebrations of June 16th, there's nothing to celebrate, you know, because the police are still killing people in South Africa, you know.
And it's been like that for a while.
It's been like that for a very long time.
It's been like that for a very long time, Otalia.
For a very long time, yeah. And you know, we're just even looking at the issue of Collins Khoza, who was brutally killed by the soldiers during the lockdown, and many others, you know. So this is a time to talk about system change. We are not just reflecting, but we need to implement. And Black Lives Matter should be a global movement, and we really need to support this movement. Yeah.
I think we are actually on that direction right now. Hence, I say it should not be a trend. It should be something that we keep on going back to it until we actually see the needle moves, and until we see it moving. And because we don't have time, totally, I'm going to have to move. I have one more guest that I could speak to, and then after that, I'm going to ask Ruth to please play something for us. After I just check in with Yemi here. Yemi, my brother from another mother. My brother from Nigeria.
Hey, how are you?
Watching there, right there. Oh man, I just wanted to say thank you for coming here as well. I know you're a busy guy, okay? And we are here in support of Black Lives Matter, and also in support, and we're here to remind us that we need to heal while we are still out here on the streets protesting and trying to fight for our humanly right to live a fair and just life with equal opportunities. I want you to talk a little bit about your music, and I know you brought me a song that is about hope. What are you trying to say to us with that song that you have there? Tell us who you are a little bit.
How's everybody doing today? I hope you can see my face. Anyway, I'm very happy to be part of this forum. And, you know, I just feel so passionate and so happy to hear everybody on this platform speak, because we are in a very trying time. Sometimes I'm upset, sometimes I want to cry, sometimes I feel like I can go out there and really do some crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, when I was living in South Africa, the word Ubuntu, humanity, it keeps resonating in my head.
Right. Right.
Before you're white, before you're Indian, before you're black, you're human.
Right.
You're human. I have a lot of white friends around the world. These are genuine white friends that love black. They love what black is all about. Anyway, I have a lot to say. I know everybody's trying not to waste our time, but when the lady from South Africa was talking, she kept saying black, and I wrote down BLACK. I can't find the word for A. Maybe someone can help me. Well, I said black, B is beautiful, L is loved, I have no word for A. Maybe someone can help me. And C for courage, and K for kings. Both male and female, we are kings, And then I'm just going to talk about George Floyd being murdered, and we're still trying to get through these. Rayshard Brooks is murdered in Atlanta. How worse can he get? Like, this thing is too much. It's too much. It's too much. Like, sometimes I'm driving, the cops they might be driving on the other lane, and the next thing they pull behind me just to scare you. And probably then you make a mistake and they pull
terrorizing you.
Like, what's going on? If America seems to be the free country of the world, and we are not free in America, especially the black people, I'm sorry, man. We are not free.
Freedom. Yeah.
Moving forward, the police brutality has to change. The systemic laws that has held black people bound has to change, where black people cannot get loans that what's the word? That they are supposed to approved for. All these things need to change. So it's from the foundation.
Right.
The foundation is not right.
Right.
Foundation is not right. If you build a house that doesn't have a good foundation, it's going to fall.
Collapses.
So we've been protesting our heroes, our forefathers. They've been fighting for 400 years. We're still here. We're still fighting. Is it ever going to stop? When you think about your kids, Thabisa, think about your kids.
I'm always thinking about my kids.
What's going to happen? Is this still going to continue? I'm sorry, I have a lot to say, but I'm just trying to cut it short. So,
I was going to say to you,
My name is Adeyemi Samuel Adebeshi. I'm popularly called Yemi Conga, Yemi the Conga player. And as an artist, my music is world music, African jazz. But, I can play other genres as an experienced session musician with a lot of experience and still learning. And during the height of the pandemic, I'm home. This is where I sit most of the time in my studio. When I wake up in the morning, I open the blinds and make sure the world is still there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the word that comes to my head is hope, 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 hope. So I ended up writing the song of hope. And I was able to send it to my friends all over the world, amazing musicians and artists. And they were able to, reproduce what I've already recorded with the live instrument. And the music is out all over social and the streaming platforms on YouTube. Song of Hope by Yemi Conga. The song is just all about, giving hope to people because, people are losing hope. People are scared. Right. Even stepping out to go get food, you're scared someone is going to touch you or you're going to touch something, you're going to get sick, you're going to die. You don't know what is going on.
Right.
So the song actually encapsulates everything that is going on right now. And at the end, it's talking about hope that, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So my brothers, my sisters, black and white, South African, Nigeria, we are human. Please, let's genuinely go out or do something. And fight for this systemic change and police brutality. Is police our protector or are they killers? That's the question. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. This is WNHHLP 103.5 FM, Thabisa and friends. We have so much to say, little time, and I wanted to let you guys speak your minds and let it all out. I didn't even use any of my notes or any of the questions I had in mind. Anything I wanted to do today, I did not do except for this is what was needed. This is what was needed. It needed to just free fall and let everybody put their hearts out there. Let the world know how, as artists, do how we feel and where we stand with all of this. And I also do feel that we need another show. I think I need to stop doing the bi-weekly one. I should do weekly or every other day because I realize every time I don't have enough time to speak, you know, and even my guests don't have a lot to speak about, you know, and there's just so much to talk about. But because of time, I always have to say goodbye. But here's the thing, I promise you this, I'm going to make sure that I don't do the show bi-weekly. I'm gonna add more days, and that way I don't have to put so many people in one time, so that if I want to speak to a lot of you wonderful human beings, I can spread you out throughout the shows. So I am gonna say I love you so much. Keep fighting the good fight, be strong. I may not play all your music, and we'll get you back here on the show again. That is a promise. And I will make sure that whatever is on your mind, you will have a chance and a platform to put it out there. So forgive me if I don't do the things I plan to do today, but it will happen pretty soon. So I don't know, Ruth, you have something for us to take us home? And as you may have, as Ruth may play us, she may possibly play us out. So if we do happen to cut off, don't feel scared. She might be taking us out. But I love you guys. Keep the faith. We are going to make this work. And our Caucasian friends that are out there, your job, do the fighting, do the dismantling of the system. We need to do the healing as the Black people. And let's all work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bonane mazweni bathanda ukuthetha ngawe